Hello, you're watching Oathbound Secrets, and today I just wanted to. Oh gosh, every time I lean back in this chair, it's like. I just wanted to do a little vloggy thing, update on how things are going. I recorded a little bit of video during the eclipse, and I thought it would just be nice to have a little record of the special moments. And it was very interesting. It was very I don't know how to describe that eclipse, because I'd kind of been feeling like very tired leading up to it, exhausted, absolutely exhausted. I know that my hormones have been struggling lately. It's my age, things are starting to change. I don't know. I'm just like, what is it? Is it my hormones? It could be. I don't know what's going on. Or am I just in a constant state of dread with the state of the world right now, and is that just messing with me? I don't know. But I felt like the eclipse was offering an opportunity for change, for a shift in perspective. And it was a really lovely kind of moment that brought people together, because so many people taken time out of their day or evening to pause and like just be outside with everybody. The whole streets full of people all just coming out of their houses just to like try and see what's going on. A lot of people, queuing. There were queues around the block trying to get hold of the special glasses. We did a little bit of a DIY to make our own. A bit risky, perhaps, but it worked. and where I went to the lake that is just literally there, and there were quite a few people that had kind of like put little camp chairs and stuff all along the lakeside, and it was just very quite peaceful and lovely. A few people playing a little bit of background music, chatting away, quite a sort of bubbly kind of atmosphere of, very social, very, real sort of like sense of community. And it made me think a lot about events that bring people together, that bring the community together, and just fostering like a greater sense of community, because I feel like there's so much division right now, and it's really like played up by the media, who just want to rage bait constantly. And I'm just sick of the rage bait. I know what you're doing. You're trying to manipulate us. You're like harvesting our energy or something. And it's not that there aren't things to be angry about. Yeah, of course there are. Yeah, there are legitimate things to be angry about. But it's the way that the media tries to kind of take advantage of that, and taking advantage of us, basically manipulating us. It's just really not very nice. And on a related topic, I've been trying to understand a little bit of drama happening on online amongst the witches, and there was this one issue about someone who's called the Glasgow witch, a Glasgow witch, or the Glaswegian witch, something like that. Anyway, I wasn't really aware of them. Somebody said, "Oh, you're following them," and I'm like, "Am I?" Oh, okay. Who is this person? I don't know. And there was some talk about the fact that they had joined Gaia, or Gaia, however you say that word, Gaia, which is like TV channel kind of thing, platform, kind of like its own version of Netflix, that kind of thing. And the type of people that are part of that kind of TV channel, or whatever you call it, are not not the greatest company to be amongst. And basically, the problem that arose was that people were kind of saying, well, why is this lady joining this platform that is I'm just going to put it out there, white supremacist and Zionist. And isn't that a little bit of a contradiction in ethics, in moral behavior? Why are you doing this? Why are you accepting money from them? Basically, some people accept work and jobs and opportunities from organizations that are really not very good. And it's like, when do you draw the line as to, like, yeah, we all need money, but are there certain things that we should be boycotting and avoiding on a moral principle? You know, it's a question that we're all asking ourselves all the time, because there's so many different boycotts happening, and trying to keep up with who's who and what's happening, and trying to be as ethical as possible is hard work, but it's important. So yeah, that was that was something I was trying to, like, understand what is going on, and receiving a lot of heat. If you're somebody who's receiving a lot of heat, um, flames flames are burning because of some questionable choices that you've made, then you've got to accept that maybe it's time for a little bit of self-reflection, and maybe you might have made a mistake, and try to just be honest and own up to being ignorant in the first place. It could just purely be based on that you didn't know what you were signing up for, that you didn't do your research, and then you realize, oh, actually, this is pretty dodgy. I'm not sure I want to be part of this, and then you leave, and then you state quite clearly, I didn't know what I was signing up for, and I made a big mistake. Or you say, this is something I'm willing to compromise on, actually, and I need the money, which is sad, isn't it? A lot of people make big, big compromises when it comes to ethics and morality. There's another bit of drama that I was paying attention to, that was in Glastonbury. Glastonbury always has its dramas. Any community is always going to have its dramas. This is what I'm talking about, like community, and how to bring people together, and the kind of things that divide us. There was one issue in Glastonbury concerning the White Spring, and it has been pumped through, like, this Victorian water station place, which has been turned into a kind of temple. And you go into this, like, dark, gloomy kind of space, and it's just like you can see, like, a big pool of water and candles everywhere, and it's quite, like, mysterious and interesting. But there's been a bit of a drama lately over, like, bad energy, and I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what are people talking about? A lot of people just, like, at each other's throats over this, because they're saying, undesirable types of people are going to the spring and doing things that we don't approve of, and blah 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 blah. Okay, big old drama blowing up over the over the spring, and who should be allowed to access it, and what they should be allowed to do while they're there. And this is the thing with community, is that when you bring people together and make something freely accessible to the entire community, yeah, you're not going to agree with every person that's there. You're not going to have everything in common. You're going to have plenty to disagree about. And, there could be people with different types of preferences and habits to you. For example, people were complaining about the consumption of alcohol and cannabis and other recreational kind of substances, and they're saying, "Oh no, it's bringing a lot of bad energy into the space because of this." And it's like, well, different people have different preferences, and I don't know if you really should be banning substance use from what is a public space. I don't know. I don't know. Because, you know, some people like really cannot stand it, and they're just like, oh, the stink of the smoke, and the sound of the drumming. People are drumming for hours. I can't stand it. I just want to listen to the bird song and breathe the fresh air, you know. And it's like getting the level of respect where, you know, you're not imposing on other people, when you're not kind of like, there's a certain boundary somewhere as to what is tolerable behavior, isn't it? And I just think it's interesting trying to keep the right balance. You can't make everyone happy. You can't make everyone happy, but you've got to get the right level of compromise. And that's politics, basically, isn't it? Politics will always exist wherever people exist, because politics literally means public matters that are part of discussion, community discussion, and we're always going to have these public matters to discuss, because we are part of the public. We're not all in our private little bubbles. And I think it's quite sad when society gets so fragmented that we're all in our little tiny private bubbles of our personal space. Yeah, it's nice to have personal space, but you've got to go outside and talk to real people out there, and you shouldn't be afraid of the people that are out there. You know, you should feel like it's safe and normal to be able to talk to your neighbors and people in your community and your local community. But yeah, it's difficult to learn how to navigate that public sphere of respecting people's personal space and boundaries and stuff. Difficult. And I was thinking the same thing when I was watching the eclipse, and I was kind of listening to like the sounds, the noises around me. Sometimes you're feeling a little bit irritated, like, oh my gosh, I wish that person would pipe down. I just want to enjoy a little bit of peace and quiet. I don't like that person's taste in music, you know, all these different things. And then you just think, well, you know, we've got to have like a certain tolerance level where you just accept, okay, people are people, they're going to do things that you might not agree with. And this one person came over to me, and I was thinking, okay, I wasn't really expecting to be having a social moment right now with other people, but you know, it is what it is. Somebody comes up to you, and I'm not going to say, fuck off, please. I'd like a moment to myself. I think, well, they're here, so deal with it. And it's not that it was a bad experience or anything, not at all. It's just that it wasn't quite what I was expecting to experience. So I was kind of like, all right, I have to adjust myself now to the fact that this has actually turned into a lot more of a social experience than what I expected. And it was nice. It was lovely. It was nice to have a little chat, you know, how you doing? What's up? What's going on? And feeling very at ease and nice, and feeling like, oh, isn't it lovely that like people recognize each other in the street, and you know people, like you don't really know them that well, but they're just somebody that you see kind of passing by on an everyday basis, as somebody who lives local to you. You know, it's quite nice. Oh, what's your name again? Oh yeah. Oh, it's nice. Yeah, how are you doing? Oh yeah, you're doing this, you're doing that. You know, and that's a lovely little community feeling that I think is actually really special. So I at first I was a little bit not sure, and then I kind of adjusted myself, and I was like, actually, this is really nice, and this is like a good kind of like reminder that we are social creatures as human beings, and that this is something that we should actually be paying a lot more attention to, is how we interact socially and how we create more of a sense of community locally. Is really, really important. So I hope you enjoy this little video. I'm going to show you little clips of what it was like. This is my eclipse vlog, 12th of August 2026, and I am by Radipole Lake. The sun is just behind me up there somewhere, with the lovely swans, copper bottle full of water. We've got about half an hour or so until the full eclipse. What is it, 96%, something like that? So just gonna sit here and chill. I've put some sort of filter on my phone to try and film it through my phone, but I don't think it's really working, because if you look through your special glasses, then you can see that the moon is just starting to eclipse. We've got about 15 minutes until the full eclipse, and yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to record it on my phone or not, but at least I can just make a little vlog while I'm sitting here, so you can, I don't know, get some record of the day. I just want to record what this day is like and have some memories. I video myself looking at this. You can have a pint of bottle in the taxi. Beer, please. He goes, yeah, sure, but what's with the big pause? So, like, there's a tint over the film, isn't yeah, there? And it feels like that a little bit like tinted, a bit golden. Okay. Can I use your glasses? At me, I'm surprised to see that a woman like that was real into me. She said she didn't have no The eclipse is nearly over. It's about half crescent now. Everyone's packing up and going home. They've all had enough. Even the swans are going home. They're not impressed. It wasn't very dramatic. But it was a nice moment. It's quite interesting. It didn't get very dark. It just got like a little bit dark, and you could feel like everything kind of cooled down a little bit. And everything got very long shadows on it. But it wasn't very dark. It wasn't very dramatic. It was quite subtle. But it was nice. And when I came home immediately after this eclipse experience, I was thinking to myself, okay, like, what is my role in community? What is my social role? You know, when I leave the house, who am I? Who am I in the community? When people see me passing in the street, who am I? You know, who do they see? And what do they understand about me? What do they think about me? You know, in this kind of outside perspective, trying to figure out how you are perceived by other people was an interesting thing to think about. And I was also thinking about social media being a part of that, because these days, you know, that's a huge part of the whole social experience is Facebook and Instagram and blah, 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 whatever. That people may be aware of you based on your comments, your little stupid little comments that you're making on different posts about local issues. And it made me think a lot about what I'm doing locally and what I'm involved in. And I like getting involved in different sort of community projects and stuff. I actually work for a non-profit organization, a community interest company. Is that what it's called? CIC. And I really value doing that, because I think, wow, I'm doing something nice for people. I'm helping people and I'm getting paid to do it. I'm kind of like, wow, this is great. Another thing that I was thinking that I really wanted was to manage some kind of sacred space, some kind of temple. And that's why I've over the years been looking at Glastonbury in particular, the goddess temple there, and different goddess temples that keep popping up in different towns, and thinking like, this is really cool. I really like this. It's really interesting, and getting the dynamic right with an organization like that, in that you're creating a space, a sacred space, where you know that a lot of people are going to have different beliefs, different ideas, different gods and goddesses, and like trying to create a space that is welcoming to people and allowing for diversity and creativity and, all different ideas, without being too broad, because you've got to have some limit, you've got to have some boundaries, and just figuring out, what those boundaries are and where to draw the line is pretty hard work, isn't it? But that's just something I've always liked the idea of as a community interest company, something that is serving the community, something that is socially benefiting people. I think is really good, really important, and there are some little organisations like that near me, little community interest companies or whatever you call them, that are set up for social good, to bring people together, to create a space where people can come together and build a good sense of community. I think we're going to need more and more of this over the coming years. And I think we need more and more people to be coming together and making plans like, okay, let's put our resources together and start a project and do something that is good for people around us. That, events and fun things to do. I'm going to a fun event tomorrow, actually, in Bournemouth. There's going to be a pirate-themed picnic. And the whole idea was based on the fact that Bournemouth has been having a little bit of trouble with certain far-right groups who are fascist-leaning, somewhat racist-leaning, very anti-immigration type of organizations that are creating a little bit of turmoil in the community. And they plan to do a march along the seafront tomorrow. And in response, the local community said, you know what, we're going to have a lovely family fun day in the gardens, as a kind of, almost, it's not really a counter protest, but it's like an alternative to say, look, they're doing that, we're doing this. We're doing something nice and friendly that invites people, all different nationalities, all different religions. Doesn't matter, what your identity is. You're part of the community, and the community is diverse by nature. It simply is. And that's something that people should be able to celebrate. Like, look at this. Like, we're so interesting that we've got so many different ideas and so many different beliefs and so many different cultures and languages. Like, isn't it fantastic that people like this can come together and just be human beings, getting to know each other, having a nice time? Isn't that lovely? So they're going to do this with a little pirate theme party. So I think, things like that bring people together, really, really important, really lovely. So I'm going to enjoy that. And I hope you have some events like that happening near you, some lovely community events. And I hope you have some lovely community organisations that are bringing people together. And if not, then get one started. Do it. Do it right now. Thank you very much for watching, listening, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.